BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified Podcast, Episode 10, Action! What's up, Amp Unit? Before we get to the 10th ever BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified Podcast, I want to give you guys some good news and a big update if you haven't heard yet. Tommaso Ciampa has had a successful neck surgery down in Alabama on that injured neck. His expected recovery time is 3 to 6 months. Some medical professionals say it could take 6 to 12 months if he is not healing properly. And unfortunately, a lot of superstars with neck injuries never fully heal properly, and they're never able to come back to the ring. That goes for athletes in any sport, unfortunately. We hope that is not the case with Tommaso. We hope this is just of the variety of 3 to 6 months. We hope he heals properly. We hope he has a speedy recovery. Are we going to get the Tommaso Ciampa we once knew and loved? Probably not, but is it going to be a shell of what he once was? Absolutely not. Tommaso Ciampa can roll with the times. He knows how to play the psychological game within his character. He knows how to change his gimmick, his character, and his style. He's got a good brain for the business. He's going to be just fine, so I'm not worried about that. What we want to see from Tommaso is him just recovering correctly, properly, and ASAP. As quick as he can, we want him to come back and do what he loves most, being inside that ring. So we hope him nothing but the best, man. Speedy recovery, nothing but the best. Thank you, Tommaso, for all the entertainment you've already given us, and we cannot wait to see all the entertainment you're going to give us in the future, because I know damn well you're going to bounce back from this. Moving on, guys, and starting off this podcast, and I promise you, it's the 10th ever episode, so we're going to bring it today. Nearly 2 hours at least we're going to bring you. From Q&A's return. That's right, I haven't done an amplified Q&A in a couple of months. I announced at the end of this week's SmackDown review video that I'm bringing it back for this one day, and you guys responded big time. So in this podcast, I answered nearly 70 of your guys' questions. It took me over an hour to answer them, but it's all going to be in this very podcast. We're also going to go over the full amplified preview for this weekend's WWE Fastlane pay-per-view. And we're going to go over Torrie Wilson's induction into the Hall of Fame and how the wrestling community is up in arms about it. But the Amplified is going to... Amplified man, the Amplified man, Mr. Amplified motherfucker, whatever you want to call me. I have a list of why Torrie Wilson absolutely deserves to take her rightful place in that Hall of Fame. And it might blow some of you away. Some of this you may have forgotten. Some of this you may have never even seen before, but you're going to try to have an opinion about her not going into the Hall of Fame when you didn't even do your research yourself. But before I piss off those people, I'm going to piss off a big chunk of people right out of the gates with Roman Reigns. That's right, when Roman Reigns back in October announced that he was diagnosed or once again had leukemia, a lot of people, after the weeks started to go by, started calling bullshit. A lot of people started calling it fake and saying Roman Reigns was lying and him and Vince and everybody was in on it. And I told you guys from the beginning, please don't bring that trash onto this channel. Because I wasn't going to want to take it, I'm not going to have it. If you have hard evidence, facts, that contradicts what I'm saying, that this was all real. But if you have facts that contradict that, if you have facts that go against that and prove that Roman was lying, Vince was lying, then I'm willing to hear it. But so far, everybody that has been saying this whole Roman Reigns diagnosis was fake, it was a lie, I've yet to see any hard, substantial facts and evidence. In fact, after this week, I haven't been hearing or seeing anybody crawling out from underneath their rock and claiming it was fake, because they all now today look like clowns. Because WWE after Raw this week came out with a network special called WWE Chronicles Roman Reigns, where Roman Reigns went into detail about not only when he found out that leukemia had come back, but the process that he had to fight it and what he is going through from day one to right now. Everyone claiming it was fake because he was filming some stuff after a couple months. Claiming it was fake because he still had his hair. Claiming it was fake because he has some muscles still. But you didn't know his treatment. You didn't know how fast they caught this. You knew nothing. You just wanted to claim that it was a work and it was fake. Because it didn't fit your narrative. It wasn't what you're used to when hearing this type of diagnosis. Well, that's tough shit. It comes in different forms, facets, and ways. I don't want to ruin the whole Chronicles experience. If you haven't watched it on the network, I strongly urge you do. It's a Goosebumps documentary. And I was captivated from minute one. And Roman goes off again. I don't want to spoil a lot, but because I am running this story on this podcast, I do have to go in depth a little bit and give some details about why everybody who called it fake, this whole diagnosis, why everybody today, you're not hearing from them anymore. I have to give the details. And those details are that Roman Reigns, in that network special, talked about how he was at a live event and was pulled to a back room with all the suits and ties, and they talked about how his white blood cells were elevated. And they tried to pinpoint certain things, and he knew exactly what it was. And sure enough, that's what he began treatment for. Leukemia was back. And he talked about how for the next couple of months, he could barely even get off the couch. But he was fortunate that he didn't have to do the regular radiation. He got to do this chemo where it was in a pill. And he got to pop these pills. That's how his chemo was done. And he said he'd take that any day, any time over radiation. Which I'm sure anybody would. So everybody thought that he was just getting radiation like so many other people that they may know who've had this. No, you didn't know what you were talking about. You didn't know the process that he was going through. And he was also able to catch it at the very earliest signs and stages. That's where you want to catch that. And he did. So he was able to battle through this quicker and better than a lot of people that find this a lot later on. Or aren't able to do certain treatments that Roman was able to do. But Roman didn't have to do this network special. He went out of his way to give details. He talked about how one of the biggest symptoms that he had afterwards with the treatment was arthritis from the waist down. His legs and in his feet. And you have some clowns talking about how he's got no side effects whatsoever. No symptoms during or after. He suffered not at all. And you got his mother on that documentary crying in tears. His sister showing great concern. Every superstar in that locker room standing up for him. Vince McMahon in tears. But it was all a work. It was fake to get Roman over. And you got some clowns going, I wouldn't put it past WWE. I wouldn't put it past Vince. So you can't blame us for thinking that way. No, I absolutely can. For something like that, you better have hard evidence. And if you have that evidence, then I will absolutely disown that company, disown Roman, and anyone who knew about it. But you don't have that evidence. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. It's fun as wrestling fans. We get to call everything a work, like Dean Ambrose being announced that he's no longer going to be with WWE after Mania. I call that a work. And it's going to be fun to see what happens next after Mania. Even though he's now, actually they took it off, but he was accidentally promoted after WrestleMania. Accidentally. When I know he's going to be with the company. Maybe he will take some time off though. Who knows? But he ain't going anywhere. But maybe he does. That's my prerogative. To call that a work. But when you call something like this that can take lives. And you say, you can't blame me. I mean, everything wasn't adding up. No, you don't have facts. It just isn't adding up to your narrative. It isn't adding up to people that you know who maybe have had cancer before. Something like this you can't play around with. You can't call people liars. You can't call that fake. You can't call that a work. Because this is playing with people's lives. This is real life. That pissed me off, guys, and I asked you guys weeks ago, I think it was, right? Or at least 1 week ago, a couple weeks ago, I said, please don't bring that trash to me, because I started hearing a lot about it the last couple of weeks, about how this is probably all staged, and this could be a work, and this is all fake, and he never really had it, or it was embellished. He didn't have it that big. And what are you talking about, have it that big? You either catch it early or you didn't. It's still the same shit, and it still sucks just as much. He caught it early. He was able to do some treatments that are better than most. And he's able to come back after 4 months. After the first 2 months, he was able to film some stuff and go out in public and take pictures and enjoy some football games or whatnot. That's not evidence that's saying to anybody that he didn't have it. And unless you have that, careful what you say, dog. Because you're going to come across people like the Amplified Man that ain't going to have it. And I'll slap you upside your fucking head if you're a fucking stew-nod like that. A dipshit of epic proportions. I don't play around with that shit. Anyway, those clowns look such today. Those dipshits look as such today. They look like sideshow clowns that they've always been today, living under their rock after that Chronicles Network special came out. When that special came out, they dove head first back under their rock. I didn't say anything about what? Yeah, you're not hearing too much about it now, are you? Maybe there is still a dipshit or two out there still claiming they think this was a work or embellished. Fuck out of here. I can't stand stupid people. I can't. It's one of my pet peeves in this world. Stupid people. Clowns. Dipshits. I got zero time for them. I said it before, I'll say it again. Whether you love Roman Reigns, the character, or not. Whether you love Joe or not. The character behind the character. The man behind the character, I shall say. Doesn't matter. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'll say it a million more times. So good to see Roman Reigns back in the ring. So good to see Joe doing better. The booking, that could be another story. You might hear me trash the booking of Roman Reigns, and maybe even the way in the direction of his character going forward. But as far as seeing him back doing what he loves, back providing for his family, Joe backing on his feet, in good health, in good standing, that, absolutely, I enjoy and I welcome back with open arms, man. It's good to see. Now let's piss some more people off. Torrie Wilson. She's going into the Hall of Fame and a big fan base is crying. Torrie got it? That's bullshit. She doesn't deserve it. You have people screaming, Alexa Bliss deserves it when she wins a championship, right? She shows up the next night on Raw. You deserve it. Carmella wins a championship. You deserve it. Hornswoggle wins a championship. You deserve it. David Arquette wins another championship. You deserve it. But Torrie Wilson, after spending 10 plus years in the business, she doesn't deserve it. Or then we start hearing, well, it's okay, but other people deserve it first. Well, of course, we can go through that list all day long, 24 hours straight. Multiple days, probably. It's not about who's getting it first. Let's not take away the accomplishment from Torrie. You got a beef, you could take that up with WWE, but don't tarnish her induction. Don't make it any less special for her. People are claiming she never won a championship. She was never involved in any big storyline. She never contributed anything to the business. I call bullshit times 10. Do you even know what you're talking about? That's rhetorical. Clearly you don't. So what I did, guys, I put together a little bit of a list to refresh your memories because obviously they're a little bit foggy. Or maybe you never even seen any of these stories, never seen WWE back in the day, and you just want to give your opinion anyway, that you don't feel she's deserving of this. So you're going to give an opinion on something you don't even know about. But in case you did just forget, let me refresh your memory and just who in the hell Torrie Wilson is and what she did contribute to this business. How about in her first year, 1999 WCW, she was brought in by the NWO to seduce David Flair to turn on his father, Ric Flair, leading to Super Brawl 9. Yes, Super Brawl 9, not Super Bowl. Right off the gates, Torrie Wilson was more meaningful than... Let me give you D'Angelo. Before I continue with that list, what am I doing? I want to give you D'Angelo's comment, all right? This is a gentleman, D'Angelo Hayes, man. Nothing but respect, by the way, because you showed it to me. I want to show it back to you. So I'm not trying to expose you or your comment in any way, but I do have to put it on blast for a second because these are the type of comments that I see people trying to throw around. And this is what I am proving makes zero sense. D'Angelo puts, I have to respectfully, I'm sorry, and that's why I give nothing but respect back to you, D'Angelo. I have to respectfully disagree with you on Torrie Wilson being in the Hall of Fame or being Hall of Fame worthy. Just because she was a long-tenured employee doesn't validate her. By that logic, Alicia Fox should be going into the Hall of Fame too for her 10 years in the business. D'Angelo, did you not listen to a word that I said in that video? I said much more than just she was there for 10 years. I said she was in meaningful storylines. I said she did contribute to this business. So D'Angelo, right off the gate, I'm proving you wrong. Her first year, she was brought in by the NWO to seduce David Flair to turn on Ric Flair, leading into a big story into Super Brawl 9. When has Alicia Fox ever done anything in her career, anything to the level of that epicness? Never in her 10 years or 7+ years, whatever it is. 2, the Eddie Guerrero storyline with Billy Kidman. Torrie Wilson had a real-life boyfriend in Billy Kidman. She was doing the flirting angle with Eddie Guerrero. You guys forget about that storyline with Eddie Guerrero? Because I didn't. A big part of the alliance during the WCW invasion angle. And that started with a big storyline with Vince McMahon as his love interest. So not only did she make a big splash coming to WCW in '99, but in 2001 going to WWE, the big invasion angle. She was a big part of that. She was Vince McMahon's sidekick, his love interest. Her big storyline in 2002 with Dawn Marie, where Dawn was trying to hook up with Torrie Wilson's father and actually succeeded. Torrie Wilson's father ended up having a heart attack. You're telling me you forgot that storyline or you just never saw it? The Playboy storyline she did with Nidia and Jamie Noble. You forgot that? How about Sable's return to WWE to take her rightful place as the head cover girl from Playboy? And Torrie Wilson was like, hell no, I'm the lead. And they had their little Playboy battle. Sable and Torrie Wilson. Whether you liked it or not back in the day, guys, the bra and panties matches and all that. That's where pro wrestling was for the females. So you can't blame Torrie Wilson for that. She was doing everything that was asked of her. So Playboy brought a lot of eyeballs to Vince McMahon's product. And she did that for Vince, a big part of that. Vince okayed that and said, yes, do this. Just like he did for Sable. Don't forget, Torrie Wilson defeated legend, icon, Trish Stratus in a, what was that, guys? Paddle on a pole match. She was involved in matches on big pay-per-views. She came back for WrestleMania 25. She came back for Raw 25. She came back for Evolution. She came back for the first ever Royal Rumble. You're telling me all of this body of work, 10+ years, and all the returns, that didn't grant her a spot in the Hall of Fame? I call bullshit. And like D'Angelo says, by that merit, just by 10 years, then Alicia Fox deserves to go in. All the shit I just named, you're giving me Alicia Fox has a list of epic shit that she accomplished? I call bullshit, and I know because I did my research. Sometimes you guys just pick one thing that I said, and you like to leave out the other details that would contradict your statement because it doesn't fit your narrative. Well, that's tough shit. You go back to that video where I was talking about her having 10 years in this business. I said a lot of other things about storylines that I remembered and contributing to this business more than a lot of the females back in the day. You left that out, D'Angelo. That's not cool, my man. Nothing but love and respect, man, as you showed me. But I did have to blow that up because you left out a lot about what the Amplified Man said. And if you're going to compare Torrie Wilson to Alicia Fox, that's night and day, brother. You can't do that. Torrie Wilson was doing everything asked of her in that era. Those were the matches being put on in that era. Alicia Fox is now in the era of actual good women's wrestling, and you can't tell me Alicia Fox is a good women's wrestler or even putting on good wrestling matches. You can't compare the two. Come on, guys. If you're going to leave comments, I like to read them when I'm in line trying to get a coffee. But I want to read smart shit. I don't want stupid comments. Please, guys, think about what you're saying. If you just don't feel Torrie Wilson belongs, hey, man, that's fine. Do you have to blow it up on your social media? Do you have to talk shit about and to Torrie Wilson? Do you have to make this any less special for her? Because there's people like me out there that know this business, that have not forgotten what people like Torrie have contributed to the business. We can't wait to see her take her rightful place. Sorry, not sorry. No, I don't apologize. I should do another episode of that. What'd I do? 4 episodes of that? YouTube hated it, man. They demonetized every one. They couldn't stand it. I should bring it back just to piss more people off. I'm sure the first, 20 minutes at least, maybe we're going a half an hour, maybe plus, who knows, pissed a lot of people off with the Roman Reigns haters, the Torrie Wilson haters. Do we keep it going? Alright, but before we do, I was going to say, let's piss off the people that actually think Fastlane is going to be a good pay-per-view, because I'm about to go over the entire card. It might only take me 5 minutes, because the card does not look good at all, and I don't know what it's going to be. They call this a stop on the road to WrestleMania. This is like a fucking pothole. But before I do, let's switch sides a little bit and have a little bit of a funny story. Maybe it's funny, maybe not so much the Honky Tonk Man. The Honky Tonk Man is taking a lot of flack this week, because as you guys know, he's been introduced as one of the inductees into the Hall of Fame this year, along with Torrie Wilson. And a lot of people found an interview that the Honky Tonk Man cut back in the day about if he was ever asked to do the Hall of Fame, would he? In his comments and thoughts on the Hall of Fame. This is hilarious because as we now know, Honky Tonk Man accepted the phone call and he's speaking praise about the Hall of Fame and how he can't wait to be inducted this year in New York, New Jersey. But that's not exactly what he was saying not too long ago. I want you guys to listen to a couple of minutes of a clip I'm going to present to you here. I can't show you the actual footage for obvious legal reasons, but it's just going to take a couple of minutes. I want you guys to listen to the words of the Honky Tonk Man. This was not too long ago, and then we're going to come right back and discuss it. Listen to these words. Again, this was the Honky Tonk Man talking about the Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm not in. Obviously, they haven't asked me, but if they did ask me, would I go in? That is like the question of all time. Would you go if they asked you? Well, I'm not really sure if I would. And that's a good. And I get asked that question a whole lot. And they say, "Well, Pete Rose is in. Pete Rose wasn't a wrestler." That Hall of Fame is a bunch of bullshit. I mean, Paul Orndorff said it the best. He said, I got a first-class ticket, I had a nice hotel, I had a good dinner, I got a good payday, and I got a $35 fucking plaque that I left in the hotel room. So, there you go. It's not a Hall of Fame, for Christ's sakes. I mean, I know wrestling fans are very passionate about some things, but the Hall of Fame is something you shouldn't be passionate about. You know, I mean, Jerry Lawler called us druggies and homosexuals and all kinds of things for years and years on his TV show. And then he gets inducted. Dustin Rhodes, baby. Heck, with a P1. That fat piece of lazy shit. He's in the Hall of Fame. Mr. Perfect blows himself away with an overdose of cocaine. He's in the Hall of Fame. But now they say, well, we're not sure if we can put Benoit in there. Benoit took that fucking extreme wrestling shit to a higher level, brother. Nobody, I don't know if anybody can top. I don't even know if New Jack or one of those guys can top that shit.
So you might not even take it if they offered it?
Not right now. I'm too busy. I do my own thing. See, if I did that and you said, come on down, let's do this thing for the video and let these people know what the real story is. There's a no-compete clause for like 90 days after the Hall of Fame where you can't do anything in wrestling. And I think they try to slide that if you go to the Hall of Fame, you have to clear all your bookings with them. Guess what? Fuck you!
Good old Honky Tonk Man. I grew up with the Honky Tonk Man, so that's hard for me to listen to. And then to see him go and accept his rightful place in the Hall of Fame, it's going to be so awkward. Now for all of us that know what he said about the Hall of Fame, and now all of a sudden, he's all happy to be there, and he's loving it. Oof, that's cringeworthy, man. It really is. Listen, not to defend the guy completely, but we've all been there, right? I mean, we live in a society of our feelings and our emotions, right? Well, the truth is, feelings and emotions change all the time. Every single morning we wake up, it's a different feeling or emotion, right? It's just the way it is. If you're at war or in a feud or you don't like or maybe even hate somebody, you're gonna say mean things maybe. And then all of a sudden the relationship is probably going good again. You reconciled. And then all the shit that you said about that person, you'd love to take it back. In today's day and age, you can't. It's out there in the world. If I ever shake hands with CM Punk and have a coffee, we can shoot the shit like two friends. But the bottom line is, everything I said about CM Punk, it's out there in the world. And I wouldn't try to take those words back. I'd say, yup, those are my feelings. Those are my emotions on the situation. We can continue to have coffee, or you could get up and walk away. Or try to punch me in the face. We'll have a brawl right in Starbucks. Starbucks brawl match. I'm down. Punk versus the Amplified Man in a Starbucks brawl match. The point is, we say mean things about people sometimes that we don't care for. The person or the entity or a company we don't care for, right? If you lose your job, for instance, you're probably going to talk a lot of shit about that job if they treated you unfairly. In the long run, that might not do you any good for your next job, or if you ever wanted to go back to that job that you were talking shit about. But you're going to feel compelled to do such because you feel you were wronged. Honky Tonk Man felt that he was done wrong. He lashed out, and he lashed out at every which way. He talked shit about Vince McMahon, superstars that are under his watch. He talked shit about the company. He talked shit about the Hall of Fame. And now look, now he's being inducted. We can all talk a lot of shit until the phone call comes that we have a payday for you. The phone call comes that says, hey, we want you to have your moment in the spotlight. Oh, then your whole view on things change, doesn't it? That's why I always say, careful when you talk shit about somebody or a company or an entity, because if you are going to talk shit, I'm cool with that, but make sure you mean every word. Make sure you're saying shit that even if you reconcile with said person or said company or said entity, even if you reconcile, you can still stand behind those words. Because if it's shit that you would love to take back just because you're on good terms again, then maybe you shouldn't have said those words from the beginning. I think Honky Tonk Man was frustrated with the company and was lashing out. Now that he's on good terms with them again, oh, you know damn well this is his legacy. He's up there in age now. You start thinking about the twilight of your life, not just your career. You start thinking, what am I going to be remembered for? And then Vince says, hey, you can be in that bullshit Hall of Fame that you once said it was. Just saying. Stand by your shit is the best advice I can give the Honky Tonk Man. When you're there that weekend, people are probably going to bring it up. His own peers, just to throw a little jab, have a little bit of fun, joke with him. And if I'm him, I'm standing behind it. I'll stand behind that Paul Orndorff line that he gave to Honky Tonk Man. I got a good meal. I got a payday. First class travel. I got all of this stuff. And you know what? At the end of the day, I left a plaque in the hotel room, you know? Joke back. Have fun with this. Because you're going to get poked a little bit with this. Oh, the legends I grew up with, man. Honky Tonk Man. It'll be fun to see him talk about that in the future. I think there will be some interviewers that are going to try to pull an answer out of him. Of what are your words? What are your feelings now about the Hall of Fame? I want to see what he says. Moving on, guys. Let's get to, before I get to Q&A, I want to run down the card for Fastlane real quick. This is the official preview. This is, guys, the official 9 matches, 2 that we know of on the pre-show, 7 on the main show. Where are my manners, by the way? We're already over half an hour into this podcast. I didn't even introduce. For those of you, even though this is the 10th episode of the podcast, even though I've been doing this channel and running videos for 2 years now, maybe you're new to the channel. Maybe you're new to the podcast. This is Mitch Jr. You may remember his father, Mitch. Dean Ambrose was its caretaker. That unfortunately got smashed thanks to Chris Jericho. Even though Mitch was perished and lost in that battle, casualty of war, that still brings a tear to my eye to this day. Through that, we were able to garner up some soil. And through that, we have a genetically superior frond ficus plant. And his name is Mitch Jr. This is the son of Mitch. So Dean Ambrose would be proud. And the legacy of Mitch, I know, is looking down and proud. He stays watered. He stays vigilant. He stays always on command and ready to go, man. When it comes to thought process, there's no better than Mitch Jr. If I ever have something that I need to beam off of him, an opinion or a thought that I need to be rectified, or just a different level of thought that I know is going to be to the utmost caliber, I just ask Mitch Jr., and I promise you within seconds, all makes sense. So that's why I'm always right next to Mitch Jr., man. Again, these are genetically superior fronds from the soil of Mitch, his father, man, which we all know was one of a kind. So anyway, that's Mitch Jr. This is Anger. He's always taking over this New York City cab. He's always full of rage, frustration, and anger, and that's why I kind of love the little guy. So Anger is always with me as well, spewing some rage on every show. We got Brett, the original, can't say original. Bart Starr was the man, him and Vince Lombardi. But for my day and age growing up, Brett Favre for the Green Bay Packers, man, he was beyond icon level. So he's got to be a part of the podcast as well. I'm sorry for the mess. I have all these coffees scattered around. These aren't just props, guys. I assure you. These are coffees that I down every morning. I get a couple of lattes. I fill up my venti-sized regular coffee in this bad boy here. And I don't like to drink on camera too much. I remember CM Punk did that once, and I'm glad the interviewer called him out and said that was rude and disrespectful and that he was acting like a punk. And he was. So I took a lot from that, and I think that's disrespectful to drink too much. Sometimes you might see me have to down a coffee on air. I apologize. I don't apologize often. No, I don't apologize. But for that, I do, man. That is disrespectful. And, of course, all my Yankees paraphernalia, because the New York Yankees rock! And I love everybody who hates the Yankees as well, because we're all in the same community, man. If you love the Yankees or you hate the Yankees, we all love to talk about it, and that's what makes all of this special. Especially when it's from my wrestling fans. So now that you got introduced to my cast of characters and my paraphernalia and my props or whatever, or lack of props, the real deal. Yes, I drink this much coffee. Hi, my name's BC. I have a coffee issue. I have a coffee problem. I'm an addict. Where was I going? Yes, Fastlane pay-per-view, man. It's my podcast. I can go in left field with a hockey stick if I want and talk about anything I want. For however long I want. But let's go to the Fastlane pay-per-view 2019, guys. This is a pay-per-view that's going on this weekend. If you're watching this when I put this video out, which is a Saturday, then tomorrow night is the pay-per-view. If you are my original Sunday audience, because I used to put this podcast up directly and solely on Sunday, if you're still part of that Sunday audience, then probably just a couple of hours from now, Fastlane is going to hit the air. But it is this weekend, March 10th. It is the final stop pay-per-view-wise to WrestleMania, thankfully. I don't even call this a road stop toward WrestleMania. I call this a pothole. Because I don't see anything on this card that I need to see, or that jumps off the page, or that captivates me. I just don't. But we shall go through it anyway. There's 2 kickoff matches announced so far. Not sure what's going on with the cruiserweights, but as of right now, the kickoff show is going to have Rey Mysterio take on Andrade Cien Almas. It's also going to have Big E and Xavier from New Day, both members, Big E and Xavier, taking on Rusev and Shinsuke. Yes, that belongs on the pre-show, thank goodness. But I can say that a lot about the main show matches as well. A lot of these matches belong on the pre-show, the kickoff show. Because on the main show, there's 7 announced matches. Mandy Rose is going to take on Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship, currently ran and owned and held by Asuka. You wouldn't know that because if she's not left off of television, they have nothing for her on television too. So the last couple of months since she's had the championship, since December, they've had nothing for Asuka. She makes Becky Lynch, who's supposed to be in the WrestleMania main event, tap out at Royal Rumble. Everybody says it's because they're going to make her look strong as ever now, and this is going to lead to something big for Asuka. It didn't make her look as strong as ever. It made her look weak because they kept her off TV and didn't have anything for her. So that was all for nothing. And now Asuka's finally back on pay-per-view to have a match, and it's against Mandy Rose. If it seems like you're not interested or captivated by this match, don't worry. You're not abnormal. There's nothing wrong with you. Nobody is interested or captivated by that match. I honestly think Mandy Rose is walking out with Asuka's championship. Then again, it's Vince and WWE. You never know. Becky Lynch takes on Charlotte for the opportunity for Becky Lynch, if she beats Charlotte, to enter the Charlotte-Ronda Rousey WrestleMania main event match. It'll become a triple threat. Obviously, that's where this is leading, so obviously Becky Lynch has to win this. The downside with that is Charlotte Flair is one of the best competitors in that ring today, male or female, and she's going to get beat by a one-legged gimpster, Mrs. Hopalong. How is that realistic? That's rhetorical. It's not. And on top of that, we don't need to see a triple threat. This whole thing has been done wrong from the beginning. I just want to see Ronda and Becky, two badasses, two badass characters, fighting for the championship. Not even a wrestling match, just fighting. Charlotte is going to be in the middle of this, just ruining it. Obviously, I think Ronda is going to show up in some form or fashion. The fun part of this, if you guys saw my last video, I put it up yesterday. It was a video about Ronda Rousey breaking, destroying kayfabe, and lashing out on WWE, the fans, and especially Becky Lynch. In that video, guys, I gave you the actual clip of Ronda Rousey spewing all of this. And in that clip, she kind of disses Ohio big time. The funny part is this is actually in Ohio, this Fastlane pay-per-view. So if Ronda shows up, a lot of that crowd is going to have heard that promo that she cut, or actually just that shoot. And she could be booed out of the building more than LA booed her out. And LA got a lot of disses in Ronda Rousey's shoot as well. Go back yesterday's video, guys. You can see what I'm talking about if you haven't caught it. But Ohio, man, she dissed Ohio, and here's the pay-per-view in Ohio. What are the chances? So that's the only thing I'm really looking forward to in that match. But those are the women's matches, guys. On top of that, the only other women's match is for the tag titles. That's Sasha Banks and Bayley defending their WWE tag team titles against Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. At what point do any of us ever need to or want to see Tamina and Nia Jax on a pay-per-view? Again, that's rhetorical. We never need to. We never want to. So everybody that said, BC, Sasha's going to get tag titles, don't worry. That's what all of this 2018 tag team with Bayley is going to lead to. And I said, no, I'm going to worry about it. Because then when they win the titles, we're just going to end up seeing the same matches again that we saw all throughout 2018. But this time, they're going to label them as title matches. And I was right, wasn't I? I always am. About the Becky Ronda build to WrestleMania, I was right. And I was right about Sasha Banks all along in the titles. Because now we're just getting Nia Jax and Tamina versus Sasha and Bayley again. We saw that so many times. 2018 and 2019. Now they're just calling it for the titles. And then when that's done, then what? Sasha and Bayley are then going to take on the Riot Squad? We saw that 317 times in 2018. And in 2019 already several times. Then what? Iconics, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville. Sasha Banks deserves better than that. She's one of the best in this world. This company has to start acting like it. But BC, she has tag titles. Oh, okay. That makes up for it. Cling her to Bayley for the next 7 years. How about the rest of her WWE fucking career? Just her and Bayley will be a tag team. They'll travel the world as best buds, hugging and bossing connections. I feel like they should have a business card or something. Stupid. Those are the 3 women's matches. Can't say I'm invested in any of them. Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Gable and Rude versus The Revival in a triple threat Raw Tag Team Championship match. That's how stupid and lacklusterly lame the tag division is. They can't even come up with #1 contenders. They have to have another schmaz match. Triple threat. Gable and Rude earned an opportunity because they interfered in a tag title match this past Monday between Black, Ricochet, and Revival. That makes sense. Let's reward people that interfere in title matches. This company, I tell you, no common sense, no logic. It's absolutely tragic and criminal. If it wasn't tragic and criminal, I'd probably be laughing at them right now. But it is tragic and criminal. Those are 4 matches on the card. The 5th match, Shane McMahon and Miz taking on the Usos in a rematch from Elimination Chamber for the Usos tag team titles from SmackDown. That would be one of the only matches I'm really looking forward to because I'm a big fan of Shane, obviously. I dig the Miz. And I'm a huge fan of the Usos, especially right now. You guys know what I'm about to say. They're the best tag team in the world right now. The Usos are hitting their strides, wrestling-wise and promo-wise. So that's a match that actually I'm semi-into. Kevin Owens. He's going to try to take Daniel Bryan's SmackDown Heavyweight Championship off his hands. That'll be one of 2 main events, I'm guessing, right? Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan. Does Kofi Kingston somehow show himself in this match? Get involved? Point to the WrestleMania sign after it's all said? Who knows? But does he set more seeds down into the foundation, into the ground for WrestleMania? Because we definitely think it's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Kofi. I hope they don't do something stupid like a triple threat Kevin Owens, Kofi, and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, or a fatal 4-way. Mustafa Ali, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, and Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. We don't need that. Kofi versus Daniel Bryan. They showed you at Elimination Chamber that if you just put them in the ring and you give them time and you let them go and do what they're capable of, they're going to captivate us. That's what I want at Mania. You already got enough schmaz matches at Fastlane and at WrestleMania thanks to Charlotte Flair. We don't need more of them. So hopefully Daniel Bryan just retains his championship. No offense, Kevin Owens. We all love you, but we need to move on to Mania here. I don't even know how Kevin Owens fits into this process. He comes back because Vince McMahon just calls him out. Kevin Owens will be taking on Daniel Bryan. And here comes Kevin Owens. I'm like, what the fuck? That's how you wait? You wasted his return. It should have been epic for something epic. He's thrusted into a championship match, which he has no reason or business winning this match. All of this Daniel Bryan beating AJ Styles at the end of 2018, and all of this several-month run was just to lose it at Fastlane to Kevin Owens? No way. So hopefully Kofi Kingston, we can set the seeds and set the wheels in motion here so we can get Kofi, Daniel Bryan set in stone for WrestleMania. That's the only thing I'm interested in this match, the end of it. The main event is probably going to be The Shield versus McIntyre, Corbin, and Lashley, or at least one of the main events. That's right, that's the 7th match on this main show card. The Shield, Ambrose, Rollins, and Roman Reigns, his first match back, Roman Reigns, so it's a big deal for him in The Shield and for fans. But they're taking on McIntyre, Corbin, and Lashley. This is a match I don't want to see on a Monday Night Raw. I don't want to see this at a live event. I don't want to see this in a dark match. I don't want to see this. I don't want to hear it. If I'm in the bathroom at a live event, I don't even want to hear what's going on with this match. I don't need to see it. I don't want to. It's The Shield versus Corbin, Lashley, and McIntyre. That doesn't captivate nobody. But that's the entire card, guys. If that seemed like a fast preview, it's because it was. It's because I don't need to spend another minute on any of these matches. We're all going to watch tomorrow because it is the final stop before Mania. And anything, any last minute changes or things that we need to be done and we need to know about, they're going to be done in the next 24 hours. From Fastlane to that Monday Night Raw. Maybe obviously leaking into SmackDown too. So we'll say 48 to 72 hours. WrestleMania, that picture is going to look a lot more clearer, and it starts at Fastlane. So obviously, we all have to be tuned in. This has major ramifications for WrestleMania. But on paper, nothing is exploding off the sheet. So I'm just going to let the boys and gals go out there, give it their all, see what creative has for them, see what Vince is going with. And then on Monday's video, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, my full review of Fastlane, that is where we're going to call out everything. The good, the bad, and you better bet your ass the ugly. So I'm going to shut up about Fastlane for now. Alright guys, it's Amplified Q&A time, one of my favorite segments to do on this channel. Something I've been doing almost since the creation of this channel 2 years ago. But it got to a point where as the channel started to grow, a lot more questions were coming in. And when I say a lot, guys, it got to a point where I wasn't even able to answer half the questions that were coming in. And that's a problem for me because I always want to give everybody the time of day that takes the time out of their day to respond and comment and try to interact. So, you know, I had no choice but to put the axe to it. It was getting to be too many questions. But every once in a while, I like to bring it back, and I do it by announcing it at the end of one of my videos, just to see who is making it through the entirety of my videos. And that's what I did for this Q&A. I announced it on this past Tuesday's SmackDown review and reaction show. And that video was only 31 minutes long, so a lot of you should have made it through, and it looks like a lot of you did. But for those of you that are shocked that it's Amplified Q&A time on this podcast, and we're actually doing an Amplified Q&A this week, you shouldn't be shocked. You should watch every word listen at least to every word I am saying in all my videos. Not only are you going to gain knowledge in the pro wrestling world, but you are going to have information to what's coming up on the channel. So even though I announced that at the end of this past Wednesday morning's Tuesday SmackDown review video, if that makes sense, even though I announced it at the end of that video, all of you guys showed up and dished out so many questions. I hope that I can get to at least most of them, if not all. All apologies if I can't get to all of them, but I'll try to get to most. And because this pay-per-view this weekend is called Fastlane, so in homage to that, I'm going to try to go through these questions as fast as I can. I'm going to go in the fast lane of answering these questions. But also, so I can get to the majority of these questions, I'll try to go faster than I usually do. Enough of the fucking hooting and hollering about how we came to one more Amplified Q&A. Let's just get into the Amplified Q&A. What do you say? I want to start with Manojit. Which WWE superstars do you want to send to AEW, BC, so that AEW can be on the same level as WWE on paper as far as rosters go? Thank you, bro. Love you, BC. Right back at you, my man. AEW doesn't necessarily need WWE's castaways. AEW just needs to try to get a plethora of different aspects of stars, which they started to do. You have stars like Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega. You have a plethora of mid-card top talent. And now you have to get some of those names that are going to, almost like Chris Jericho, but those names that do have notoriety, most likely from WWE. But now you have to do what Vince McMahon never did. Utilize them. This person is asking, on paper, what names would you send over so it looks more equal to WWE? But not just on paper. The names that I feel that AEW would utilize correctly would be names like Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Sasha Banks, Ember Moon. These are names that would fit perfectly in a place like AEW. Not just because of name value, but because what they could contribute to AEW and what AEW could contribute to them. That would be a perfect working marriage. So those are just some of the names. I'm sure there'd be other ones, but I don't like just thinking about WWE superstars going over to AEW like they're, you know, just castaways. Oh, it didn't work there? I'll go to AEW. And AEW is just supposed to be on their knees saying, oh, thank goodness, we get another WWE person. This is going to validate us. They don't need that. All right, I know I said I was going to go through these questions fast, and I'm already analyzing it too much, so I'm going to try to go faster. JFO129. Hey, BC, how would you book Sami Zayn's return? Would you put him back with Kevin Owens or keep him separate? As always, thank you for the top-notch content and much love always. Thank you, JFO129. Right back at you. Sami Zayn, separate. Not with Kevin Owens. I would make him come back as a heel because he was damn good as a heel. He's that annoying character that can actually back up his shit, but is always fun when he's running away as well. But I would go full throttle when he returns. In other words, I love the way he was playing his heel character, but Vince never really went full throttle with him. It was always that 50-50 booking that he does with everyone else. When he comes back, you keep him by himself. He doesn't need to be attached with anyone. You keep him as a heel, and you let this guy go full throttle, put him to the boards, pedal to the metal. No excuses. Sami Zayn's got the talent to back it up. You just got to give him the time of day. Give him the chance. Just Vel, BC, loyal fan since the beginning, man. Thank you, Just Vel. Means a lot. Congrats on everything you have done so far. You actually inspired me to do my own YouTube channel. My man, nothing but the best. I hope you nothing but the utmost success. My question is, where do you see the WWE going once Vince steps away and hands the keys to Triple H and Stephanie? I honestly think Triple H and Stephanie will have and do have a better pulse of the business. And that's important because I still look at Vince McMahon, guys, as a genius. I do. I still think there ain't a lot of people in this world that know this business, this industry, this profession better than Vince McMahon. The problem is, I feel Vince McMahon lost the pulse of the business. And that is a recipe for disaster, as we've been seeing for years now. In attendance, in ratings, in merchandise sales, in interest, in no larger than life characters being created. I could go on and on. And the reason for that is because Vince McMahon is occupied with the XFL. That's where all his money, his attention, and his resources are going. Now, yes, Stephanie McMahon is too busy playing the social justice warrior that she is and trying to get all these charities to look at WWE like the hierarchy. What next charity can we do business with so it looks like WWE is the best thing in the world since sliced bread, and Triple H is only concerned with NXT. But I assure you, if NXT gets control over WWE, that would be a badass storyline, actually. But if Triple H and Stephanie get control of WWE, they will have not only a better pulse of the business, but they will start to give the WWE main roster much more attention than it has been getting the last 5 to 10 years. I assure you. Thank you for the question, Just Vel. Let's go, next page. Michael, BC, do you miss the old Titantron videos when superstars would enter the arena? I'm guessing once they hit the curtain. Remember the old entrance thing? Oh, man, up on the Titantron during the Attitude Era. You're damn right I missed that, Michael. In the generic music we hear today from some superstars, which makes or breaks a superstar's career. Your thoughts? Again, the Titantron vids, I miss them, man. Stone Cold be coming out. You had the snakes. You had him dropping stunners. The Rock comes out. You got him with the eyebrow. He's hitting rock bottoms. They don't do it like they used to. I definitely miss that. As far as the music, today's music, especially when they're giving the NXT superstars their themes, they're good. They're just not great. They're not captivating any of us. Like, I can go to the gym and I can honestly put on Goldberg or Brock Lesnar or even The Rock or definitely Stone Cold's music, and that gets me pumped up. I can't say that for a lot of superstars today. Nothing's really badass. Nothing's pumping us up. So today's music, some of it is still good, but far from great. And that's what we're missing in a lot of areas in pro wrestling today. Where's the greatness? Pro wrestling is something so special and unique. It should be great all the time in all areas. And instead, we're struggling to find anything great about not just the business, but especially this company. I'm getting off track. I know, we're supposed to be in the fast lane of answering these questions. I can't help it, man. I love talking pro wrestling. I'm engaging with you guys. You're asking questions. I can't help but analyze and sometimes overanalyze. It's what I do, man. I love talking pro wrestling. So hopefully I answered your question. Yes, I absolutely miss the old Titantron vids. And today's music is nowhere near what it used to be either. So, goes along with everything else today. It's nothing as great as it was back in the day. Brian. Hey, BC, what are your thoughts on fans calling Roman Reigns' leukemia fake? I already touched up on that at the beginning of this video, obviously, Brian, as many of you know. Man, that's a sideshow. If you thought it was fake, ooh, wow, that's hard to take back. But hopefully today you're taking that back. Again, if you didn't see that WWE Network special, it's called Chronicle Roman Reigns. That'll answer all your questions on if this was fake. But then again, we're going to hear people probably saying, he's lying. His mom was faking the tears. Everybody knew what was up. Or nobody knew what was up, and he lied to his mom and his sister and his family. I don't know. To some wrestling fans, everything is a work, even when we have the facts that say it's not a work. What are you going to do? Part of the reason we love pro wrestling fans, though, including myself. I always think something's a work until I get the facts. With this Roman Reigns thing, I pretty much had the facts from the beginning. So it was hard for someone like me to see everyone going around claiming this was fake and calling Roman a liar and a bullshit artist and how dare he. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it, Brian. Juliana, ABC for Q&A. Who would you have face Sasha and Bayley for the tag team championships at WrestleMania, and how would you build it up? All the love and respect. Right back to you, Juliana. Simple. Trish and Lita. Build up an exhibition tag team championship match where Trish and Lita want to see if they still got the goods to go in there and capture the tag straps that they never had back in the day. I don't know so much about the build, Juliana. It doesn't need an epic build. I mean, that match pretty much speaks for itself. But the outcome should be Bayley and Sasha keep the championships, but Trish and Lita give one hell of a performance that has everybody standing ovation and hooting and hollering at the top of their lungs, including Sasha and Bayley. The ultimate respect for these two legends to basically come out of retirement and try to capture gold. That would be awesome. But yeah, Trish and Lita, WrestleMania, Sasha Bayley, book it. Derek, ABC, Becky's booking has been so horrendous. Is it even going to matter if she wins the title at WrestleMania? Or is that just too little too late at that point for the man character? Much love and respect. Right back to you, Derek. It's too late for most fans of just professional wrestling. If you're not on a Becky Lynch bandwagon, it's definitely too late. Becky Lynch winning the championship at WrestleMania does nothing for us fans. We've already seen Becky Lynch win a championship, and we've seen that it was pretty dry after she won the championship. This storyline and all of this excitement that everybody thought they were going to have for WrestleMania for Becky Lynch, I'm not seeing it, I'm not feeling it. And I know there's a lot of people like myself and you, Derek, who asked this question. So for us, her winning the championship at Mania isn't going to do anything. But for the Becky Lynch hardcore supporters, it's going to mean everything. This was the whole journey for them. So it's either she wins or they're going to riot in New York City, New Jersey, or wherever they are, or riot in their home. Maybe they're going to throw their TV out the 5th-story window. Who knows? Throw themselves in front of a bus. I don't know. But if you're a Becky Lynch hardcore supporter, then this is the only outcome. If you're just a wrestling fan that wants to see the best storylines, the best outcomes, wants to see things that are going to captivate us, this does nothing. It's just, you know, so yeah, I guess it would go under the headline of too little, too late. Kevin, do you think the WWE would be better off if Vince McMahon retired? I wouldn't have asked that 10 years ago, but Vince has stopped caring about the WWE. You hit the nail right on the head there, Kevin. Because I just touched up on this a few questions ago. But you actually answered it yourself, my answer that I gave a few questions ago. And you put, Vince has stopped caring about the WWE. That's exactly right. He just stopped giving it the attention. So unfortunately, I'm like you. 10 years ago, I never would have said this company, this business would be better without Vince. But because his attention is just on the XFL, and because I feel he lost the pulse of the business, and the pulse of what the fans actually want, then unfortunately, yes. Not when Vince dies. Some people are like, the company will be better when Vince is dead. That's a little too harsh. I'll say that about CM Punk and any fan that's saying that. You don't wish death upon anybody. That's just stupid and fucking nonsensical. Don't be a clown. But when I feel that if he retired, Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I never could have thought of WWE without Vince, but when he retires, I do think the WWE can at that point flourish to new heights. But it's in the eye of the beholder. Vince is nowhere near stepping down right now. And again, I feel the guy is still a genius. I just wish he would put his time and effort into the WWE more and not some stupid knockoff D-rated football league. Ashley asks, for the Q&A, BC, if you could choose anyone for Sasha to beat for the women's title, who would it be? If you mean now, Asuka. I think that would be a badass WrestleMania match. Or anywhere. Put them in a parking lot. Asuka versus Sasha Banks, take my money. For the championship, Sasha wins it over Asuka, and I love Asuka. But take my money, that'd be badass. Thanks for asking, Ashley. Garrett, question, BC. If WWE contacted you to be a writer for Raw or SmackDown, would you accept it? I must say, your thoughts and the way you think is better than WWE. I appreciate that, Garrett. The honest answer, and I've answered this in the past, now, absolutely not. And there's going to be people that go, bullshit, BC, you would jump on it, man. Anybody would. Guys, I wouldn't, because I would ask you. Think about me and my personality. Now think about Vince McMahon, his personality. Now think about us on day number 1 in a meeting when we're trying to go over creative shit. I'm asking you guys, do you think I'm lasting 1 hour in that company? I'll give you the answer. You already know it. It's no. There's no way. I'm not going to just be a yes man. I never was. I never will be. And I know that if I ever work for WWE, which would be a dream career job, no question. But if I ever do, I have to have some of it on my terms. I have to have some creative juices and power in that company. I have to have creative power. Some. I understand the guy owns it, but if you're hiring me as a creative force, you got to give me the ball. Otherwise, I'm just arguing with you until you fire me. So I'm not going to quit every other endeavor I have in life, uproot my entire existence, just to be fired a day, a week, or a month later. So no, guys, the honest answer is right now, no, until WWE proves and shows to me that they can handle my creativity and my level of knowledge, my level of awesomeness. Thank you. But no, that is the truth though, Garrett. I really wouldn't right now. That's why I honestly said, if AEW right now was to contact me, either a creative force behind the scenes or just an on-air talent, for AEW right now, I actually would accept. Because they're starting new, they're fresh, and I can contribute, and they'll actually listen. But WWE, man, they're so far gone right now and stuck in their ways. Man, I honestly feel if God himself came down right now, introduced himself to Vince, Vince wouldn't even listen. Wouldn't give him the time of day, wouldn't give him a 5-minute meeting. It's just the truth. Letitia. Question, BC. Do you think Charlotte and Becky will both be on Raw after the shakeup? No. Or they shouldn't be. They've been together for so long on SmackDown. If you're going to do a shakeup, those are the two who have fought in any type of match, every type of match, so many times. You got to separate them. And now, it looks like they're both on Raw too now. So at some point, you got to separate them. And that would be the time with the shakeup. No question about it. Let's move on, guys. Paul. Hey, BC, I was wondering your thoughts on Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas being on the pre-show. All the best to you, BC. For those of you that weren't filled in, Andrade is taking on Rey Mysterio on the kickoff show of Fastlane's pay-per-view. I know, Paul, you mentioned you're not a big fan of that, and I know a lot of people are not. But for me, I look at it this way. I've already seen them take on each other several times. One-on-one several times, tag team matches, 6-man tag. So I don't need to per se see them on a pay-per-view for no reason. So if that's going to be my kickoff show match, for me, I'd rather see that than a Cruiserweight 205 Live match. I think that's more entertaining, it's more captivating. And again, what was the reason or purpose to put them on the main pay-per-view anyway? There is none. Of course I want more for Andrade. Rey Mysterio, I think, was just brought back to be enhancement talent, and he's already beating and winning a lot of his matches and beating a lot of opponents. So you can't ask much more of Mysterio right now at this stage in the game. Andrade, yeah, I would love to put in bigger, better matches at pay-per-views. But if he's taking on Mysterio, I don't need that to be on the main show. I think the kickoff show, I'd much rather see that than a cruiserweight match. You know what I mean? Because it's the same philosophy every pay-per-view. Cruiserweight match at the kickoff show. Cruiserweight match at the kickoff show. Cruiserweight match at the kickoff show. It's nonstop. Every kickoff show, you're guaranteed a cruiserweight match. In fact, the title will probably be on the line again on the kickoff show come Sunday night. But at least this gives us a little bit of a promoted match that we know is going to be fun. That's a little more captivating. So I'm okay with it. Guy, a question for the next Q&A, BC. Is the schedule for wrestlers in WWE today too intense and demanding to be able to build a feud like the DIY one on the main roster? The wrestlers are getting more and more injured. We might not even get the big blow-off from that feud. Absolutely correct. You hit it right on the head, Guy. Yeah, I mean, it's not just the schedule is so demanding. It's the style is not helping either. The style of wrestling has picked up. You got guys doing somersault, backflip, 450 splash from the Empire State Building maneuvers. I don't even know what they're doing anymore. But they're trying to one-up each other, and they're trying to one-up themselves. The pace is so fast that you're not even seeing selling and psychology anymore in half these matches, if not more than half. So you have the schedule mixed with the style, and it's a recipe for disaster. And that's why you're seeing more injuries today than we've ever seen in the past. And that's why such an awesome feud, like what was going to happen with Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa for NXT TakeOver New York, it didn't even come to fruition. You couldn't even get the ultimate payoff. And some people are saying that's why Charlotte Flair was added to Ronda and Becky, just in case someone got hurt again like Becky did at Survivor Series. They have a fallback plan that was already advertised. It was already a triple threat, so now you got one injury. Now at least you get the one-on-one. I don't feel that way. I think Charlotte was added just because that was Vince's plan from the beginning. But some people think it's because Vince is worried about injuries. And how can he not be? Everybody's getting injured. Everybody. From minor injuries to major. Taryn, thanks for the awesome shows, BC. Q&A. Oh, you're welcome, Taryn. Thank you. Q&A. Have you seen the Netflix show Glow? If not, you should check it out. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. I have. It's interesting to say the least. That's where I'm going to leave it. I haven't had a chance to really jump into it, dive into it in a binge format. So I will try to do that in the future. But I've seen it, and it's damn interesting, that's for sure. Not in a bad way. I'm not quite sure yet. I gotta binge it out and really come to a conclusion. Finalized, once I binge it. Martin, BC, have you watched Roman Reigns on the WWE Network about his leukemia? Yes, I have, Martin. As I've mentioned a couple of times in this podcast, it's absolutely captivating. And I urge anybody who hasn't seen it, go see that Roman Reigns Chronicle. Man, goosebumps, man. It's so captivating. And if you thought that this whole thing was a fake, a big rouse, whatever you call it, if you thought this was a fraud, you might want to check it out. Peter, for Q&A BC, will Cheesehead Charlie 2.0 or Hankerson Henderson make a return for WrestleMania week? In this business, Peter, never say never. Sam, for Q&A BC, thoughts on NXT UK? I'm from the UK, and I'd rather have a WrestleMania, LOL. I hear you, Sam. Listen, NXT UK, it's good, but you have to have the time for 100 hours of pro wrestling every week. So NXT UK is good. It's a great concept. There's just too much wrestling. You're expecting people to go through Monday Night Raw 3 hours, SmackDown 2 hours, an hour of 205 Live, an hour of NXT. If you watch TNA, you have a couple of hours of that. AEW's coming around the bend. You have New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access Television, 1 hour at least a week. Are we at 10 hours already? We probably are. And then you have NXT UK now. The Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling Glow, if you want to add that in. It's so much, man. You know what I mean? So, I know about it because I cover pro wrestling, so I kind of have to. I watch it whenever I can, for sure. but I'm always keeping track and up to date on it. But the truth is, I can't catch it on a weekly basis. I just don't have 100 hours for pro wrestling every week. But I don't blame you. UK should be getting a WrestleMania for sure, because you guys are one ballistic, raucous crowd, man. And, man, that would be a fun atmosphere, for sure. YouTube train, we don't want it, but do you think it might be a fatal four-way at WrestleMania? Daniel versus Kofi versus Kevin Owens versus Mustafa Ali. YouTube train, we better not be seeing that shit. We don't need it. Just give me Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, and I'm good. Bobby, do you think Alexa Bliss will make her in-ring return soon? I hope so, because we never want to see injuries holding somebody down. No matter how big or small the injury is, we never want to see somebody down and out because of it. So I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to see Alexa Bliss in the ring again anytime soon. But I look at why she's out, and guys, I definitely want to see her back, man. And don't forget, when she did come back for that brief couple of weeks, it looked like she added moves to her arsenal. She looked a lot better. She picked up her pace, but in a good way, knew when to slow it down. Her selling and all of that just seemed to be packaged better. So maybe she comes back even better. We'll see. Tyler, so my question would more so be in production. How do you contact companies so you get assistance financially or in distribution of your entertainment effort? Financially, I wouldn't know, Tyler, because I do it all myself, man. I do all my financials by myself. I mean, I think at one time I did like a GoFundMe or something where I let a lot of you guys contribute to my movie, Tyler's Day 30. And what I was going to do is put those names, into the actual credits of the movie. And I look forward to doing that. Once I can finally get this movie finished, there's so many other projects that I'm intertwined in right now, and there was a lot of issues filming so far on that movie, but we're going to get that done, and I can't wait to put all those names in the credits. But I didn't do that because I needed the money. I did that because I wanted people to get excited and captivated by the project, and how better than to contribute to the project. But aside from that, I don't ask for a dime from anybody, any entity. I don't need it. I'll make my movies or any project with $0. I'll find a way. So I can't help you there, Tyler. As far as distribution, can't help you there either. I'm not there yet for the movie. You have to literally knock doors and walls down to try to get somebody to listen to the project you're trying to pitch. Whether it be Netflix, Amazon, major motion picture production companies. You have to do the footwork. Nobody can just tell you, hey, this is what I did. Give these people a call. You got to do it yourself, man, and it's not an easy process. Carnut 015 Q&A question. What one historic WWE match would you go back in time and watch in person? If I could be there live and watch a match, this is funny. It's two matches that I have to give you, and they're both in the same area. They're both in Toronto. One was Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6. The other was Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, WrestleMania 18. Those two atmospheres, electric. Thank you, Toronto. Nathaniel, what's good, BC? Which teams do you think is going after the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles at WrestleMania? It looks to be the Hardy Boys, but knowing the WWE, who knows? Broke Club Extra. BC, do you watch New Japan, and are you going to G1 in Dallas? Absolutely watch New Japan whenever possible. I will not be going to Dallas. Rain, Q&A, can WWE's TV ratings be fixed, and how WWE's Fox deal would change them? They can be fixed, the ratings, but WWE would have to start putting on good shows to do such. Good luck with that. Fox can help by giving the WWE a swift kick in the ass. That's how they can help, Rain. JB, Q&A question. BC, do you think really... Oh, I'm sorry. Q&A question. BC, why do you really think Charlotte Flair is in this triple threat match for WrestleMania? Because that was Vince McMahon's plan all along. Honestly. That's why Vince McMahon had Charlotte beat Asuka's streak at WrestleMania last year. because Vince always saw this match at WrestleMania 35. Becky Lynch being added to it wasn't the plan all along, but it didn't matter for Vince. He always wanted Charlotte in there with Ronda at Mania. PB Syllable Pride. Hey BC, for Q&A, how would you book this two-part storyline? Horsewomen versus horsewomen, then the implosion of the winning horsewomen with Sasha rising from the ashes. Just like you said, I'd book it badass with Sasha rising from the ashes over everyone else. But I'm a Sasha mark. I'm a little biased. Oh, we already did that page. Hell yeah. Let's keep this thing rocking. It's funny, too. I said I'm going to try to go through this as fast as possible in honor of Fastlane, and it took me a half an hour to go through 2 pages. Get me talking pro wrestling, man, I tell ya. Good luck trying to end the conversation. But we shall move on. VP. Hey, BC. Strong Amp unit member here. Thank you, VP. Means a lot. Do you think Batista will lose or win at WrestleMania? Thanks, bro. Check you later. If he's staying past Mania, if this run leads to like SummerSlam or something, he's got to win. He should win. If this is a one-off, which we think it is, then he needs to lose. Rogue. 1973. Why do you dislike Bayley? Never said I did. Please listen more carefully next time. Ronnie, do you think the New Day, Big E, and Xavier will turn on Kofi after WrestleMania? No. Vince will probably have a pancake party to celebrate Kofi's victory, so he needs all the New Day members out there. Because a pancake party will allow Vince McMahon not to fork over the extra money for pyro. Why have pyro at WrestleMania? We can have pancakes. Actually, if pancakes were like falling from the sky or something, that'd be pretty cool. Now, MetLife Stadium has no ceiling, no roof. So, you're going to have helicopters drop the pancakes down from... See, that could be kind of freaking cool. I still want pyro. But no, I don't see the New Day members turning on, or at least Big E and Xavier turning on Kofi, because while we all know that's what should be done eventually, they do make Vince a lot of money, guys. And when you are talking charities or having them do promotional work or selling merchandise, the New Day are key components in that. And that's another reason why it's going to be great to see Kofi Kingston actually win this championship at Mania, which we all think is going to happen. Because you're not just using them for your promotional material, but you can actually see that they can wrestle, they can go, they can make you money in that ring. They could bring asses to the seats. They could bring eyeballs to your product and ratings. Just a thought, but no, I don't see them turning on them by WrestleMania. Again, I would love to see it. I want to see Big E on his own as well. Just like I want to see Kofi back on his own and have a singles run. Xavier, I don't know. I can take him or leave him. Doesn't do anything for me. Maybe he can go back to filming movies with Brad Maddox and Paige. Yeah, I just went there. Where do you want to go? Syndicate Flock. For Q&A, do you believe Naomi is being buried? And do you believe if she wins a match at WrestleMania, do you think we have a streak on our hands? Because it'll be 3 straight victories. Thanks, BC. Thank you, Syndicate Flock. They're definitely not treating Naomi right. Absolutely not. I don't know if I would call it buried, because then you could probably put together a list of 20 individuals in that company right now on the main roster being buried. So I don't want to broaden that term out. I want to save buried for, like, real shit, like what Rusev was. It still is, but there was a time where Rusev, man, he should have been something several times over. Or buried like Bray Wyatt at pay-per-views. You know what I mean? Selectively, I use that word. But you're right, Syndicate Flock. She is not being treated fairly at all. And that's a shame, because she's got the talent. Not only is she dynamically athletic, she can wrestle. She's got a pretty cool gimmick with her Feel the Glow. Brings smiles to people's face, gets people interested. Her moveset is captivating. I don't want to jinx anything, but hardly gets injured. Nothing severe when she does. I mean, she's got all the tools that you would want in a champion and that you could depend on somebody and they keep her held down. So as much as I don't want to use the term bury that often, she's right on that line, no doubt. As far as if she wins another Mania, that would be 3 straight in a row. If you do call that a streak, don't tell Vince McMahon, or I hope he doesn't find out, because just like Asuka and every other streak, he'll end that with the quickness. Lucan, question to BC about BC. How would you book a long-running Bullet Club style angle involving Finn Balor, AJ Styles, you said Carl Anderson. I almost thought it said Kyrie, like Kyrie Sane. Kyrie Anderson. Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows at any point during the time they've all been in WWE. What I would do is I would involve the storyline about who was the real centerpiece of the Bullet Club from when they were there. Obviously, Balor and AJ Styles, 2 different time frames. But they can argue about who was really the centerpiece, the focal point, the glue of that group. Finn can say it was me, clearly. AJ Styles can say, no, it was me, clearly. Gallows and Anderson have to choose a side. Eventually, I would have Gallows and Anderson join forces with AJ Styles. The threesome would be a heel group, obviously. And that Bullet Club would start the attack on Finn Balor. And Balor would have to get a couple of buddies for retribution. I hate 6-man tags, 8-man tags, all of these multi-person matches. But if you're going to have something that makes sense, like a Bullet Club angle, then I'm all down. But I think Gallows and Anderson should be with AJ Styles, not Balor. Now, if you have all of them together, I'll be down with that as well. And then you could have an interesting storyline with them taking on whoever the fuck they want. That's a different story. Michael, hey BC, for AMP Q&A, do you think with Roman's return that Vince will put Roman in the Universal Championship match and make it a triple threat match? Love your vids, BC. Keep kicking that ass. Thank you, Michael. Better not. But it's Vince. And it's Roman. So you never know. But that better not become a triple. We already have a triple threat match between Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte. After Fastlane, that's going to be official. And then on top of that, you're probably going to have another triple threat match with something else. Maybe a tag title match. You're probably going to have a fatal 4-way of some type between individuals or tag teams. Battle Royal. You're going to have so many multi-person matches at Mania. No. There's no reason to put Roman Reigns in Seth Rollins' spot and make this a triple threat. That's Seth Rollins' time. It's his spot. He's the one that looks like is going to slay the beast. Again, realistically, do we believe that to be the case? I'm not so sure. Finn Balor couldn't get the job done. Daniel Bryan couldn't get the job done. AJ Styles couldn't get the job done. And here comes Seth Rollins. And all of a sudden, he's got the formula to beat Brock. And that's why I see Roman and Dean Ambrose helping him slay the beast. And that's why I see the Shield celebration at WrestleMania. But I don't think Roman should be in the match. Again, my word will be better not. Those are my words. Logan. Will the Shield break up at Fastlane? No. Logan, again, you're lucky these are fast, so I'm going to answer 2, Logan. Otherwise, I would never let that be allowed. But these are quick questions. Do you think Dean Ambrose will leave WWE? No. He'll take some time off after WrestleMania, maybe. But I don't think he's leaving. Aaron, what's up, BC? My question is for Q&A. My question is, how would you book Ronda Rousey going forward? Love your videos, man. Keep kicking ass. Thank you, Aaron. Like a foul-mouthed, give no fucks, badass that she is. That's how I book Ronda Rousey. Christopher, Q&A, BC, WWE Women Tag Team title match. Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Kairi Sane and Io Shirai at WrestleMania. Your thoughts? Well, Christopher, book it! Bayley and Sasha versus Kairi and Io for the titles? I don't care if this thing was in the UK. I'm going to WrestleMania just to watch that match. Book that, man. Leah. What's up, Leah? Hey, BC, would you say Mia Yim is ready for the main roster? No question. Absolutely. And again, guys, everyone's going to get to the main roster and still be a little green anyway. Nothing she can't learn. Listen, if she doesn't have what it takes right now to head up that main roster, then she shouldn't be in this business, especially that company. You're damn right she should be up there. Because only then are we going to see what she truly has. Nowhere else. Koichi for Amplified Q&A. BC, with the Superstar shakeup looking to be, for lack of a better term, a clusterfuck of a train wreck, should WWE do away with the brand split, hit the hard reset, and go back to basics? Thanks for keeping us amplified, BC. Thank you for keeping it real. Koichi, thank you so much. Should WWE do away with the brand split and hit the reset button? Yes. And not only merge the brands back together, but cut the roster down drastically. I hate to see people lose their jobs, but there is way too many individuals on that roster. Too many. Superstars are being treated like mediocre mid-card talent. Mid-card talent are being treated like jobbers. Jobbers aren't even getting time on the show. It's tragic. And in NXT, don't get me started, it's even more tragic. That's like a prison down there. Everybody's in a holding cell just waiting to be used or waiting to get out. And we always joke, people want to stay in NXT as long as they can because they're going to be used more properly. But that's not the case anymore. There's so much top talent down there, they're trying to step over each other. There's only 5 matches every takeover. Some of the top stars are being left off takeovers now. So are they really being utilized the best? I beg to differ. So, yeah, I would merge the brands and cut down the roster as a whole. Ken, BC, my man, why do you think we have not seen Pyro on Raw and SmackDown or heard a song that gets us pumped up for the show? All of Vince's money is going to oh, wow. Wow, that almost was a BC botch. I almost said all of Vince's money is going to AEW. Wouldn't that be some shit? The ruse of a lifetime, man. The Khans and Vince are working together. No, all of Vince's money is going to the XFL. All of Vince's attention is going to the XFL. And when that happens, you're not spending a dime on Pyro. And you don't care about good music to get people pumped up. Your attention's on the XFL. Your money's into the XFL. And that's why it's bullshit. Alright, takes care of another page there. Let's keep it rocking, guys. Emil for Amp Q&A. What are your thoughts on Triple H's reign of terror from 2002 to 2005 when the WCW belt was given to him beforehand? Loved it. That is how heel work is done. That Triple H, people don't give him enough credit sometimes because he did marry Stephanie McMahon, the boss's daughter, and they feel he got everything handed to him. The guy put together a body of work before that ever happened, before that ever came to fruition. Triple H was on his way to becoming a bona fide superstar in this business. That's the truth. Kier, hey BC, if you were on MTV's The Challenge, it's my favorite show for you guys that don't know outside of pro wrestling. If you were on MTV's The Challenge, who would you want eliminated first? Kier, I would say after this past week, probably Bear. I probably speak for all of us. But I'd say Paulie. And I like Paulie. But I say Paulie because he's so damn good, man. Back in the day, it may have been CT or Johnny Bananas. But nowadays, it's clear. It's Paulie, man. And I don't know, man. Anybody who watches The Challenge, all the veterans, they were gone in the first few weeks. No more Johnny Bananas. There ain't no more CT. There ain't no more, who just got taken out, man? Fucking, oh, man, who is it? Fucking, because of Cara Maria. What the fuck was his name? Who the fuck? Zach! I don't know what the fuck. I'm thinking of Z for some reason, man. Zeus. What the fuck am I thinking? Zach, CT, Johnny Bananas. All the veterans are going, man. Cara Maria at this point is hanging by a string. But I say Paulie here because he is so fucking... He's winning everything. Nobody can take this guy off the pedestal. The SF Jammer. If Ambrose remains in WWE, how long do you think the Shield reunion will last? And how would you book them when they split? I think it ends at WrestleMania because there's nowhere else you need to go with this. But it's Vince McMahon. To him, they might never end. I'm not even going to try to book their finish. I don't even care about the Shield at this point. Let's get this Fastlane thing done. Let's have the little party at WrestleMania. And please, let people be individuals. Unless you have something super badass for the Shield, I don't want to see it. And again, guys, I can't say this enough. I actually don't mind the Shield. Together, they're a dominant faction. Together, they're badasses. It's just that every time they get together, they don't have anything planned. They look like clowns. They're nothing. They're a shell of what they used to be. And how many times you're going to have them break up and get back together? And it's becoming a little too much of a sideshow now. Deetris, Q&A, if AJ Lee returned for one more feud, would you like to see AJ versus Sasha or AJ versus Alexa? I don't think I ever need to see AJ versus Alexa, so AJ versus Sasha. Book that, take my money. Evolution Gaming, BC Amplified, for Amp Q&A, which women on the current roster do you think should be inducted into the Hall of Fame next? Much love and respect, keep kicking ass. Mickey James. Brandon, what's up, BC? This is for Q&A. If you would work for WWE, how would you book Becky Lynch as a badass again? Because I don't like the way WWE is booking her now. Much love and respect, BC. You're my favorite YouTuber. Thank you, Brandon. Means a lot. How would I book Becky Lynch as a badass? I would have her basically as the same character as Ronda Rousey right now. Foul mouth, give no fucks, badass to the core. I'm okay with a Conor McGregor type figure in WWE and as a female. Everyone says, oh, she's a Conor McGregor knockoff. Good, I'll take it. Not this little weak Miss Hop-Along we have going around. Mattel is literally going to make an action figure of Becky Lynch, the next one, with crutches. That's going to be her props. Just book her as a badass, man. I just want two badasses battling at WrestleMania. Like I was going to get at Survivor Series between Ronda and Becky. Now I'm getting a sideshow. That's the truth. Anger! No! Anger just did a nosedive. Every time I talk about Becky and Ronda, Anger just does a nosedive. I can't stop the vid right now, Anger. I gotta finish this podcast. I hope Anger's still with us at the end of this podcast. You guys know, on my next video. What's that? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Monday morning. If Anger is still with us. I really hope he is. I don't even see him. He took a tragic fall there, man. He was so sick and tired of hearing about Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. Anyway, we'll move on. AJ, for your pay-per-view review, would you add a great column that would equal too good, being that you have that ugly that equal too bad? Speaking of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly video that I was just talking about, that's going to be Monday morning for Fastlane. I do them for every pay-per-view. I have an ugly column. And if a tally goes into the ugly, guys, it counts as two bads. So you really want to stay out of the ugly. I don't have a great column. It's just the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what AJ is asking is, have I ever considered a great? The truth is, I would put a great column if WWE ever gives me a reason to. In the last 5+ years, especially the 2 years that I've had this channel, WWE has given me zero reason to add a great column, because nothing great ever happens. Umar, Amp Q&A, hey BC, what's your schedule on Mondays like? Hectic, crazy, and insane. Just like every other day. Team OTK, hey BC, do you think Vince will give Kofi the strap at Mania? He better, or New York City, New Jersey ain't gonna be a happy place. Joe, quick question BC, what is your favorite pay-per-view event ever? This could be the one that hooked you onto wrestling or sticks out the most. I would give you two off the top of my head. WrestleMania 7, WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 7 because that was at a time where we were at war. You know, that was the Gulf War. And Hulk Hogan was our savior, our hero, you know, to give us some entertainment, something to forget about the war at the time. I was just a young kid. WrestleMania 7 meant a lot. In fact, that was actually going to be at a stadium, but because of security reasons, Vince McMahon last minute had to relocate to a smaller venue, an arena. And that's where WrestleMania 7 ended up taking place. So I'll never forget that. And Hulk Hogan defeating Sergeant Slaughter and getting the championship, and he was all busted open, bleeding, and it was such a big moment. Yeah, for America. I know it's weird because it's just pro wrestling, but we needed something like that. And WrestleMania 30, one of my favorite events of all time because just so much epic stuff happened. Undertaker lost his streak on that event. Daniel Bryan did the unthinkable, the ultimate underdog story. Not only defeated Triple H in one night, but also defeated Batista and Randy Orton all in the same night. Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H, all in one night. 3/4 of Evolution was defeated by Daniel Bryan in one night. In one night, in that same night, WrestleMania 30, we saw Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and The Rock share a ring together. I can go on and on, guys. It was just a tremendous pay-per-view, WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. Jason, my favorite jobber of all time was SD Special Delivery Jones. Who is your favorite jobber, BC? Thanks for an awesome channel. Thank you, Jason. Growing up, the best jobbers of all time was Barry Horowitz and the Brooklyn Brawler. If you don't know who Barry Horowitz is or Brooklyn Brawler, Google them, YouTube them, and you'll see the jobbers that I grew up with. Maru, what's up, BC? I doubt WWE will really ever be creative anytime soon. But where has Ember Moon been? I just realized I haven't seen her on TV in a while. Ember Moon actually underwent elbow surgery. So she's going to be out for what could be a few more months, actually. At least a few more weeks, but a few more months is what it looks like, guys. She did have elbow surgery, so... yeah, just Ember Moon, since the time she's been on the main roster, guys, has not had the best of luck. Alex, hey, BC, do you think Batista has one last good run left in him? Absolutely. This may be it. Hopefully they do right by him. Drama King, BC, how would you tell the story between Styles and Orton, since that is the most likely match for WrestleMania? I'm not interested. I don't even want to tell the story. They're going to have to interest me in this before I can even think about booking it. But right now, Randy Orton and AJ Styles, that screams to me a match that they didn't have anything for either of them for Mania. So they're like, oh, why not throw them together? Don't get me wrong, they could work a good program. They could have a dynamite match. Well, that's what we're hoping for. But captivating me right now, AJ Styles versus Randy Orton in a thrown together, no reason for a feud match? Seems pretty last second to me. I'm not invested. I won't even bother booking that. At least not now. Boss Nation Powers, BC, for Q&A on WWE's channel on YouTube. Did you see Ronda Rousey come back and beat that ass of Becky Lynch even more when Raw went off the air? Check ya. I did check that, Boss Nation Powers, and that's the Ronda we need to be seeing. JB, hey BC, for Q&A, would you agree with me when I say that The Shield is one more stupid reunion away from becoming a joke? I'm a huge fan of them, but the fact that they keep turning on each other all the time for me is tarnishing their legacy as one of the most badass teams ever. Much love and respect, bro. I would agree 100%, JB. The heel turns or somebody turning on them, and then they get back together. Another person turns on them, they get back together, or they get back together just for a few weeks. In all a short amount of time. This isn't even over a 10-year period, guys. This is over a 5-year period. It's a little much, and it absolutely is tarnishing the legacy of what once was. That's like if you're going to do an NWO reunion 10 times in like 3 years. Obviously, you're going to ruin the nostalgia, the special aspect of the nostalgia. You're going to ruin it. The legacy of the NWO, you would ruin it. DX started being tarnished when Shawn Michaels and Triple H kept coming out as just them two and calling themselves DX. After the 5th time, this ain't DX. This isn't what we loved. So yeah, absolutely. Jive Side Productions, BC, for Q&A. Have you played the game Def Jam Vendetta on the PS2? And if so, who was your go-to? Jive Side Productions, you know there ain't nothing but love, my man, but I don't have a clue what you're talking about. I don't play a lot of PS2 or PS1 or PS4 or PS10, whatever PS they're up to. Xbox One, Xbox 7, whatever they're up to. I don't play a lot of video games. And I'm so old school. I got one of those little tiny Nintendos. They call it Nintendo Classic, I think. So I play the old Super Mario Bros. And I'm happy. I don't play a lot of video games. So I really never heard of this stuff, Jive Side. Sorry, my man. Michael, hey BC, much love and respect. My question for Q&A is Vince going to squeeze Roman into the Universal title match? He better not. Steve, question for Q&A BC. Do you ever watch other promotions such as New Japan Pro Wrestling or WOW? If yes, what are your thoughts? Whenever I get a chance, as I've mentioned in a few of these questions already in this podcast, guys, whenever I get a chance to watch any promotion, I will definitely do it. There's just so much. I can't catch up on everything on a weekly basis. But I'm always keeping track of what's going on and the superstars and the stories because I love to. But I cannot watch the full shows of all these organizations every single week. There's just not enough hours in the day. What was I going to say about that, though? Yeah. But it's all good. I mean, you want my thoughts? It's all good. It's all an alternative. None of it captivates me to the point where I have to see it week to week, though. And that's an issue. Justin, do you think the previous group of NXT call-ups will get pushed? Like Heavy Machinery, EC3, Lars Sullivan, Nikki Cross. Well, let me ask you, Justin. Does it look like it? What's Nikki Cross up to? What's Lars Sullivan up to? What's EC3 up to? Heavy Machinery might be the best utilized right now. And that's not saying a lot with their fatal 4-way tag team victories. And picking on Otis's weight every chance they get. Mitch, ABC for Q&A, how do you edit your videos? A million different apps and softwares, Mitch. Depending on what camera I'm filming on, whether it's the Red or just the regular 5D. Sometimes I even shoot with my Galaxy, in which case I'll have to just commit to apps. But if it's the Red or the 5D, I have a lot of software. I do something different for every one. It's whatever pops up. I just like to always be prepared, just for anything. When in reality, all I really do is trim, merge. It's basically it. I don't do a lot of editing in these videos, guys. I trim or I merge, and that's really it. So, but I do have several different apps and softwares. Can't even tell you their names. I really don't care. I see a price, I buy them. I have them in storage to be used whenever I need them. Probably doesn't help a lot, but that is the truth. Let's keep it rocking, guys. We're almost there, man. Kilowatt Kid, Amp Q&A. Since we're getting little bits of RKO and AJ feud that could lead to a WrestleMania match, do you think it can top AJ versus Shane at WrestleMania 33? It'd be hard to do that, but definitely possible with those two. Again, I'm just right now not captivated by AJ Styles or Randy Orton, but it definitely has the makings to be a good match. Is Vince going to really give them the time? Are they really going to put on that type of performance on an already stacked card, or what will be? I don't know. Erica, do you think Vince is sabotaging WWE on purpose so Triple H will have nothing once he is gone? I've heard this before. I just think he no longer cares. I definitely think it's self-sabotage, internal sabotage. If not consciously, then subconsciously. But he stopped caring. All of his attention, his assets, his money is now into the XFL. And that's apparent. It's been apparent for the last several years. Tyler, BC, who do you think should be the next NXT champ when Tommaso Ciampa vacates the title? Velveteen Dream, double champion, book it. Nobody, I mean, Velveteen Dream, he's got the chance to be a larger-than-life superstar. Double champion, put both straps on him. Right? I would have him with both titles. The North American, the NXT Championship, the South American, the Canadian, whatever you want to, it doesn't matter, right? Well, that would go under North American. So that's my geography. North American and Canadian. Sorry to my Canadian group, my fans over there in Canada. Sorry, I did not put you in the North American category at first. You are definitely part of us. You're a big part of us. We love our Canadian group, man. You guys are passionate pro wrestling fans. I love you guys. My point was, you can put any continent, any country, whatever you want to do, make a championship. Velveteen Dream should have them all right now. That's how much I am backing this guy. Michael, Amp Q&A, how would you book Becky and Seth to win at WrestleMania? And possibly Kofi too. I'm not going to tell you how I would book it. I would just tell you all need to win. That's how. Or New York, New Jersey will explode. I don't see how you're going to go through all of this not to give Becky the title. Kofi, the true underdog story, like Daniel Bryan back at 30 and not give Kofi the title. And all of this was for Seth after he promised his fan base numerous times he will walk out with the strap. And he's not going to walk out with it. I don't see how all three of them don't walk out with the straps. I don't. So, Juan, where you work at? I don't see how that's wrestling related, and that's actually creepy. So I'm not gonna tell you where. Juan just said, where you work at? Why? You gotta come do something? No, I'm playing Juan. No, that's just, I do a lot of things, so I'm not gonna tell you where I'm at. Hank Jr. from Alabama. Anyone who watches this channel video to video from start to finish, you know where Hank Jr. from Alabama came from. That is awesome, man. BC, here's the question for MQ&A. What do you think about NXT UK? I kind of already answered this several times in this podcast. Hank Jr. from Alabama. It's good. It's just too much wrestling for me to watch on a weekly basis. I keep track of it. Keep track of the stories. The superstars. I just can't follow it every week from start to finish. It's so much wrestling. Oh, yeah. Hey, BC, what do you think about the Chris Benoit, HBK, and Triple H match at WrestleMania? That was freaking phenomenal. I'll steal AJ Styles' word. I almost said AJ Lee. AJ Styles' word. HBK, Triple H, Chris Benoit, man, that was just phenomenal. And that concludes all the questions that I'm answering in this podcast, guys. There was a lot that came in after I posted. I believe on Thursday morning, I posted that I'm no longer accepting questions. People didn't take that as a hint. They kept asking. I meant my word, guys. I can't answer once I post that I'm no longer accepting questions, because then we're going to be here all day, and we got to get on with Fastlane. We got to get on with our weekends. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the almost 70 questions that I just answered. We'll do this again in the future, no doubt. I hope to be doing this again for WrestleMania, a huge WrestleMania Q&A. That'd be kind of cool. Thank you for everybody that participated, because if you participated, that means that you caught that SmackDown review video early. You're part of my notification squad. You're not just subscribed. You're notified, and you contribute to the channel, man. I know you guys are the ones that smash that like button on every video. You comment if you want to. A lot of you guys do. But you contribute, man, and that's what's awesome. And you help all of this go around. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Q&A. I love doing them. Clearly you guys love participating. Can't wait to do it again WrestleMania weekend. We're going to shut up for now. That was a long, amplified podcast. At least nearly 2 hours if we didn't already hit 2 hours. And now the only thing left to do is for WWE to put on the pay-per-view called Fastlane. The next time I see you guys will be Monday morning. We'll go over the full Fastlane show. It'll be the full review and reaction. We call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm not holding or pulling back any punches. I'm going to let WWE have it. What that means is if they did good shit, I'm going to tell them they did. And I'm going to explain in depth. And hopefully be happy about a lot of the shit. When they did some bad shit, I'm going to call them out on it. And if I see any ugly shit on this pay-per-view, I'm going to blast them on this review show Monday morning. There's no mulligans. It's WrestleMania season. I want the very best. We demand, we deserve the very best from this company right now. It's about damn time we start getting it, and what better time than Fastlane. Guys, I'll see you guys Monday morning. For now, holla at your boy. Peace, cuz he's out for now. Check you. I gotta go check on Anger, man. See if he's still kicking and still with us. Tune in Monday morning to see if Anger is still with us. Anger! Come back, buddy. I'm coming for you.